Okay, the next sheet that you're working on looks like this. And this is a practice in word problems again with slope-intercept form. You're going to be asked to do some graphing with this, and then you're going to be asked to give some explanation as to what some of the numbers represent. And I'm going to go through this and preview this for you. And be sure that you have the worksheet in front of you as I'm going through this. Feel free to stop the video and work on a problem and then restart the video to work the next problem. There's nothing wrong with doing that. So let's get started here. For exercises 1 and 2, use the following information. Ace Car Rentals charges $20 per day plus a $10 service charge to rent one of its compact cars. The total cost can be represented by the equation y equals 20x plus 10, where x is the number of days and y is the total cost. Now let's look at the equation. This equation is right here is what you need for numbers 1 and 2. The y equals 20x, and that 20, it tells you right here what it is. That's a charge of $20 per day. That is which now? Is that my slope or is that my y-intercept? Look in your equation. What's right here? That tells you when you're next to the x, what does that 20 represent? And then a $10 service charge. Notice it's no per day after it. There's no per hour. It's just a flat fee. So anything that's a flat fee doesn't change. And that notice is written right here with no variable. So what is that again? Take a look as to what should that be? Think about that. It says graph the equation. What do the slope and y-intercept represent? So what you need to do now, if you look here, they have actually put down on the y-axis for you the number of days. They put the cost over here on the left side. All right, so now which of these numbers do you start with? Remember, when you figure out which of these numbers is your y-intercept, that's going to be on starting over here. So you'll have a dot over here on the y-axis, and then you need to count by your slope. And count whatever that slope is, go up the amount of slope, go over 1, put a dot. Count the slope, go count your slope up and over 1 and put a dot. And when you get done, be sure to draw that line all the way out to the edge of the box over here, because question 2 is going to ask you to read that line. So because let's look at question 2. It says explain how to use your graph to find the total cost of renting a compact car for 7 days, then find this cost. So when you write over here, you're going to write, tell me how to do that. You're going to write a couple brief sentences, and then you find the actual cost. You're going to have to go over here to the graph and read for 7 days. And I'm going to have to figure out, how do I get from 7 days and where is my line at? And when I come back over here, what is the dollar cost for 7 days? So you'll take a look. Be sure that you draw your line carefully. Draw with a straight edge, and then answer the question 2. If you want to, stop the video here, work on problems 1 and 2, and then we'll move to questions 3 and 4. Questions 3 and 4. Questions 3 and 4. Travel question. For exercises 3 and 4, use the following information. Thomas is driving from Oak Ridge to Lakeview, a distance of 300 miles. He drives at a constant 60 miles per hour. Okay, again, here's your phrasing. Miles per hour. Should tell you something about, is that my slope or is that my intercept? The equation for the distance yet to go is y equals 300 minus 60x. 60 here is your 60 miles per hour, where x is the number of hours since he left. Number 3, what is the slope and y-intercept? That's right here in your equation. You need to take that right out of the equation there. Explain how to use the slope and y-intercept to graph the equation. So right in this space over here, give me a little brief explanation, just a quick sentence or two. Then graph it. Whichever one of these is your y-intercept, put a dot on the graph. Now, they have counted over here with 300 down to 200, and their spaces are, they use 3 spaces per 100 over here, so it's a little tricky as you do that. Be careful how you count. If you need help with it, come and ask me. I will be happy to show you how to count it. If we really need to, maybe we need to renumber this over here. Let's see what happens, okay? But again, as you start with your y-intercept here on the y-axis, start there, and then you're going to count using your slope. Notice this is a minus, so that means the line will be going down as you make the graph. It's going to be going down, all right? Let's look at question 4. What is the x-intercept? What does it represent? When you draw your line over here on number 3, draw the line, keep drawing it straight until you hit the y-axis, or I'm sorry, my apologies. Draw it straight down until you hit the x-axis. Stop at the x-axis down here. Then what you have to figure out is, what is this telling me? If my number hits down here at 3, if my line stops at 3, 3 what? What is that 3 telling me compared to my distance over here? What is the distance at this point when I hit here? So like, for example, this is going to be like 3 hours at distance 0. What does that mean? What is that telling you? So see if you can figure out what that is, and if you can't, let me know. I'll try to help you with that. So if you need to, I'd pause the video now, work on these 2 questions, and then we'll work on questions 5 and 6. Previewing questions 5 and 6 for you. The equation y equals 0.2x plus 3.5 can be used to find the amount of accumulated snow y, so that's your answer here, in inches x hours after 5 p.m. on a certain day. Identify the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of the equation and explain what each represents. All right, I want you to understand here that the 0.2 and the 3.5 have to do with inches of rain. And can you tell me what that 0.2 inches of rain is and what is the 3.5 inches of rain? These are amounts of rain, and you have to be able to tell which is what does it actually represent. See, try to figure that out. Write that down right down here in the blank space. And then number 6, Jeanette's weekly salary can be represented by the equation y equals 500 plus 0.4x, where x is the dollar total of her sales for the week. Identify the slope and y-intercept of the graph of the equation and explain what each represents. So now what $500? You've had problems like this already, where we talked about a certain amount of a salary plus 0.4. This is X. This is actually how commission works. If somebody works on commission, they get a salary and then they get a certain percentage of the sales that they have. And this is a very applicable situation for someone outside of school who's on a commission. Does commission sales work? So identify the slope. What does that slope number mean? And then what is the y-intercept? Okay. If you have any questions, come and see me. Good luck with this one. Pause the video anytime you need to. Ask me questions, ask one another questions. Thank you much.